From the Timeline headquarters at EPFL here in Lausanne, Switzerland. Today I'm joined by a very special guest that I'll introduce in just a second. We're going to do something a little bit different today. We're not going to do a deep dive on longevity science, but we're going to look at longevity from a different perspective. We're going to look at longevity from a world-renowned mountaineer, Sophie Lavaud. Merci. So for those of you who don't know Sophie, Sophie is an incredible human, of course, but also an incredible mountaineer. She's the first French citizen, not just woman, but French citizen to complete the 14 8,000 meter summits. Also the first Swiss woman to complete the 14, and also the first Canadian to complete the 14. So she has three
passports.
Three wonderful passports. But Sophie, also prior to mountaineering, was in the business world and luxury world, and so we'll talk about that transition in a few minutes here. But the reason we invited Sophie today is Sophie has been a great supporter of the work we do here at Timeline. And we've been fascinated by her journey and her adventures, not only a huge source of inspiration for us, but for so many, but also she's putting the body to test at these incredible feats, at these incredible altitudes, 8,000 meters and beyond, whether it's on Everest, whether it's in Antarctica, on Vinson, but we'll get into that in just a second. So, Sophie, thank you again for your time.
Thank you, Federico, for inviting me and sharing this.
Yeah, no, super. Let's jump in. Maybe a little bit about yourself. How did you get into mountaineering? Where did you grow up? How did you get these three passports? Maybe let's start there.
Well, the Canadian one from my parents, because they emigrated to Canada, and then it's automatically given to the children, but the family originally is French, so this is the second one. And with my brother, we were born in Switzerland, so that's the reason of the third one.
Yeah.
But being in Switzerland, you are always close to the mountains, so we start skiing very, very early. But there is no mountaineer in the family, so I went to the climbing world later, like in the early 30s, and through friends. And there is one specific moment that I like to share is in 2004 I had a friend who was sick at that time and had the dream to climb the Mont Blanc. So we did a bet and say, let's go. And we succeed this climb. And for me, it was really the beginning of this, I could say maybe an altitude quest, always going higher and higher. And it's how it starts, in a way.
That's amazing. Yeah, I mean, the Mont Blanc is a mountain that you probably saw from your window growing up, and so to see it through a window and then to climb it and for that to be the first of so many.
Yeah, and one small story also, when we were kids in the Chamonix Valley, we had an apartment, and my parents, my brother and I, we had our mountain, and every evening we were saying good night to our mountain. So that was Le Chardonnay, La Verte, Les Drues, and the Mont Blanc. Yeah. And I said one day I will climb all the mountain of the family.
That's amazing. What do your parents? How did they, as you started climbing? What did they think about that?
Well, they enjoy until it starts to be quite dangerous going to the Himalayas, but they always give us a lot of freedom. So as long as we enjoy life, they were happy at that time.
Oh, super. Well, we're going to show you a quick film here, just to it's a 2-minute encapsulation of this incredible adventure that took Sophie the full package, the 14 Grand Slam. Took you 11 years and 22 expeditions, is that right?
Yeah, in total, yes.
Unbelievable. 11 years.
And the film actually is the trailer of of the film that we did. As the filmmaker is François Damilano, and is the very last expedition on the slope of the Nanga Parbat in Pakistan, and it's called the Final Summit.
Amazing. Let's take a look.
On est sur le toit du monde. C'est un truc de dingue, quoi.
C'est magique!
Il y a cet ami accompagnateur, il me dit ouais, tu sais qu'il n'y a pas de Françaises qui font de la course aux 8000. Et je lui dis, tu sais quoi? Je dis, je me sens juste pas capable. Il faut pas se tromper, c'est dangereux. C'est putain de dangereux d'aller là-haut. Je pense que c'est très très bien qu'il n'y en ait que 14.
Le Nanga, c'est une montagne difficile. Alors, il s'avère que c'est le dernier. Perfect. No wind.
The snow conditions are not good.
J'ai plus peur aujourd'hui que sur ma première expédition en 2012, ça c'est clair. Le fait de manquer d'oxygène, le corps souffre. J'ai cette volonté que je veux y aller, donc c'est évident que je ne vais pas arrêter. It's moving.
Ça va, Sophie?
Je sais pas.
Yeah, incredible. If you haven't seen the film, I highly recommend it. Also, Sophie's book, highly recommend it. So let's talk a little bit about, I mean, obviously incredible, but how did you get into this? How do you get into this world of extreme mountaineering and extreme altitude? It looks very painful at times and also very scary.
Yes, but well, it's definitely a long journey, and it started on this Mont Blanc in 2004, and slowly I climb 5,000, and it summited 6,000, and then 7,000, and then arrived this level of 8,000 meter, and at that time I was saying, oh, maybe it's a little too much. It's for professionals or mountain guide and things, and especially the problem for climbing an 8,000 meter peaks is that you need time. To climb a Mont Blanc, you need 2 days, and to climb this big mountain, you need minimum 2 months without the preparation. So when you are in the corporate world and working, it's not easy to have 2 months free. So in 2008, actually I was running a company with my brother on the finance sector, and arrived the economic crisis of 2008. So now I say
You had an excuse.
thank you, the crisis, because our business model collapsed completely, and we had to close the company. And this white page gave me time.
Incredible.
And that's how in 2012 I had time to go to my first 8,000 meter expedition.
And which was your first? How did you choose the first?
It's always opportunities depending on the agencies, because the Himalayas mountains are regulated, so you cannot go there, climb and come back. You need an agency behind that asks for the permit, the climbing permit, all the authorization to go to enter the national parks, and I wanted to do let's say a small one. So I chose the Shishapangma, which is the lowest 8,000, but it had more paperwork because it's the only mountain that is 100% in Tibet, in China. So you need to apply for the Chinese visa and all this authorization. And I went there, so in 2012, and I managed to summit. And 11 days later, I summited also the Choyu, who is very close. But after a few years, I realized that I was not on the real summit of Shishapangma. I went to the central summit, which is the most accessible summit, which is 8,012, and the main summit is 8,027. And but the route is different. This mountain is so big, so huge that the route is totally different. So in 2003, I managed to get
to the real one.
To the real one, yes.
Amazing. And so there's 14 of them. Which was your favorite? I mean, how do you think about these 14?
Just for you to know, the whole 14 are in the Himalayan range, between Nepal, China, and Pakistan.
Yeah.
And I went through this. Then after this first expedition, I say in my quest of altitude, there was one, the highest point was missing. So I found that I had to go to Everest. And so I went also from the north side, from the Tibet side, which is a little harder than the Nepal side. And I complete this in 2014. And it's just really after this that I say, well, I don't want to stop these expeditions. So it's at this stage that I decide to go into full-time to try.
So you did Everest before being fully dedicated to mountaineering?
Yes, yeah.
And I'm curious, I mean, Everest or any of these, I mean, how the expedition itself, you're saying, can take 2 months. I mean, what made you think that you were ready to take on an 8,000er physically, mentally? What did the training going up to it look like? You were also you were relatively, let's say, relatively old in brackets.
The thing is, for me, the best way to approach these big mountains are experiencing lower one first. That's why I went to 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, and so on, because the high altitude world is something very special with hypoxia, with the lack of oxygen, and until you haven't been there, you don't know how your body will react. Will react exactly. So you really need to train. I receive, I think maybe every week, messages asking, well, I have the dream to go to Everest or K2 or something. What I do, I say, you have a small mountain next door, like us in Geneva, it's called the Salève. I say, go and climb the Salève first, and then we start talking. Yeah. I mean, this give you to be stuck in a mountain for weeks. It's not something that you can learn on the books or something. So it has to give you experience, and the more experience you have, the less. The best you know your body, and the less you can put yourself in danger. So, but there's a lot of discipline and of course preparation and trainings, and but there is a few things very specific for high altitude. I think is to leave home with, as I said, always an empty head.
A clear mind, yeah.
Because everything that attracts you down put you on failure. So you really need to be without stress, not tired, and fully dedicated on your climb, and also, of course, with with a few extra kg. And I have one coach, my coach that is training me for years now. He said, you you're only woman I know that I'm training that wants to gain weight. So
That's great. That's great.
this is really specific for high altitude.
Yeah. Very interesting. I mean, it's a crazy environment, right? I mean,
Yeah,
what is the body? Yeah, how do you prepare the body? But also, what does the body go through as you approach, as you get there, and as you come back?
Yeah, the idea of gaining weight is because again the lack of oxygen makes that your full body functioning is and slowly is deteriorating. So the body goes to the essential and leave the arm, the legs, and the muscles. So that's why at the end, when you come back, you have like your muscles are melting, literally. So it.
So it is a good weight loss program.
Yeah. So for sure you will lose what you gained at the beginning, and then the recovery. It's also super important before starting to go back in a next training session. So it's a lot of discipline, and this full project is during 11 years. So it's like you go every year in a kind of routine, and it's getting slowly your way of living. And no alcohol, going to bed very early, eating super healthy, and so on. So it's not just that you have a dedicated program for a few weeks and then it's gone. It's like a lifestyle. It's becoming, and this is what I like as well.
And I'm just curious, even just pragmatically. I mean, when you're on these expeditions, for example, a 2-month expedition. I mean, what do you eat? How do you cook? How does all of that work? How well do you sleep in some of these places?
As I always say, alone in the Himalaya, I will go nowhere. So there is a team around us, and the base camp. It's like a small village, of tent, and it's the heart of the expedition. And at base camp, you have a kitchen tent, a mess tent, a communication tent, and each climber and each Sherpa has his own tent, and all this. So we have cook that are staying with us for the whole expedition, and we have also what we call low altitude porter that goes back and forth from the villages back to the base camp, carrying fresh food and vegetables and chicken and eggs and things. So they do rotation a few times during the expedition. So at the base camp we eat like almost normally. Then it's and just at the end of the expedition we start to have canned food, but usually it's really fresh food. But just to give you an idea, and the average altitude of one base camp is it's like 5,000 meters, which is higher than the Mont Blanc. So it's already super high. So the body slowly starts to be a kind of deterioration. You cannot survive there. This is the main thing you need to keep in mind. You cannot survive at those altitudes. So this, and especially when you start the climb, there is usually in the mountain there is 3 to 4 what we call high camps.
Yeah.
And this start to be really difficult to eat, and the taste is changing.
You lose appetite.
You lose totally appetite. If you smell something too strong, you want to vomit, and you need to adapt. You do this acclimatization process to your body to get acclimatized for the high altitude. So that's why it takes always so long. And it's only when you are properly acclimatized, that means that you have slept above, let's say 7,000. That you start to have a proper sleep at base camp. because the high
So
altitude.
to sleep well at 5,000, you have to have slept at 7,000.
Yeah. To get the body acclimatized
Yeah.
and.
And when you say a good night's sleep at base camp, I mean, are we talking a good 8 hour sleep like here in Geneva, or what would qualify as a good night's sleep?
Yes, because the body gets tired much easier with the lack of oxygen. So, and because at the moment the sun goes away, it's super cold.
Yeah.
So it's like you just imagine that you go to your freezer every night for sleeping. So it takes always a lot of energy to your body. So then you need to sleep, and you can sleep. And we had dinner like maybe 6 or 7, and then. And in the morning, you wait for the sun coming to warm up a little bit your tent before going out your sleeping bag. So it's
fascinating. And so, just going back to sort of the 14 and so you do Everest. It gives you the bug of the altitude bug, where you want to keep on going. Well, not higher and higher, but more and more at altitude. And so, what did you do next, and how did you think about the next few years?
This is 2014, and from that moment I quit my last job, and I decided to, if I want to give me a little chance to succeed this huge project, I need to really to dedicate it full time. So that's how I start with the searching sponsor, and thanks to all my sponsor and partner, and thank you Timeline for the contribution, because it's a lot of it's hard work to complete all this budget. And then I start to go each season. So there is spring and autumn for Nepal and Tibet, and summer for Pakistan. So I used to go to for the 3 season of climb, and it's only, I don't know, maybe a few years later that I really start to talk about the 14. I keep this long time just for myself, because probably I'm not capable. So just except to the sponsor, I give the big project, but I was always very afraid of the potential, not tension, but expectation, too much expectation from the surroundings. So I always presented a project for 1 year, and then I say, probably I will not be able to do what I put on the paper, but so let's see at the end of the year. And I went so on like this. And I have never been attracted by the performance itself. It's just a journey, and it's a personal quest. So I think that's, in a way I could say that this approach saved my life. Because if you are not in this process of being the first, or being, you wanted this target and pushing too much, that give you maybe the not, let's say, opportunity to give up at some strategic point. If just an example, when I went to the the name of the 3rd highest mountain in the world?
No idea.
So the first one.
Everest.
The second one.
I'm hesitating between K2 and Annapurna.
K2.
Okay.
K2.
This is a tough quiz.
8,611. It's a super high. For me, it's the hardest mountain in the world. So the third one, that's a name that probably nobody knows except the mountaineering world, is called Kanchenjunga.
Yeah.
And it's at the far east of Nepal, on the border of India. And it's a huge mountain. And then Kanchenjunga I went 3 times. And the second time I turned back 130 meters under the summit. And
why did you turn back?
I turned back for the story is quite long, but I had no ice axe anymore. I gave it I did the mistake to give my ice axe to Sherpa, and the upper part of the mountain was not fixed. There was no safety, no fixed line, nothing, and the two friends. And everybody had turned back, so we were only 3 remaining. And I say, we need, you need to imagine that you are with all these big clothes, and we are above 8,400, oxygen masks, and hypoxia. So you say something, you are convinced that the person in front of you understand, but you don't understand at all. You see roar, you hear something, and I say, we need a piece of rope, and I need to catch an ice axe. So I turned back and went down for like 50, 60 meters. And when I turned back, my friend was gone. And because the speed of walking that altitude is so slow that just imagine it's like an average of 3 to 5 seconds per footstep. Okay, so you
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So it's very, very slow. So I immediately saw that I will not be able to catch them. So, and probably they won't wait for me at the summit. And if I continue, I will be the last one on the mountain.
On your own.
And it happens anything, I will die. Yeah. So I decide to turn back.
Yeah. But it's great that you were able to have that reflection.
And I remember clearly, I took my camera, I took the picture, and we see the 2 small yellow dots, because my friends, they have big yellow down jacket. Yeah. I have this photo, and one of them, they took them more than 8 hours to reach the summit and come down, and one after this spent almost 6 months hospital because he has his 10 toes frozen.
Turning back sometimes is life-saving.
And we talk about 130 meters of elevation. So this is and that's why we talk about that zone.
Yeah, definitely. No, absolutely. Changing gears a little bit, I'm curious on you mentioned the Sherpas who are essential to the success of a team in an expedition. It's interesting you mentioned them also because a few years ago there was a big scientific paper that came out where they studied, I believe, Nepalese Sherpas specifically, and found that their biology was different. And actually they found that the mitochondria, which is what we will work on at Timeline, they have healthier mitochondria than the average person.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I was curious on this whole Sherpa community. In general, you have a couple of Sherpas that you've taken under your wing also.
Sure.
So I'm curious on
both. I mean the Sherpa. So we talk about, if we talk about Sherpa, we talk about Nepali. Okay, and just for you to know, Sherpa is a caste. Okay, it's an ethnic, and in the 50s, when they start this conquest of the Himalaya, the first expedition, like the French expedition on Annapurna, they start hiring these people to carry all the loads and logistic to the base camp. So their name became the name of the job. Mm-hmm. Okay, mm-hmm. But if you take, for instance, Sangye, who is the Sherpa, I have shared 12 expeditions, and we succeed 7 of those big mountains together. If you look at his passport, his name is Dawa Sangye, the first name, and Sherpa is the family name. So the family name becomes the name of the job. So if you go to Pakistan and you say to a guide that he's Sherpa, they don't like, so they call them high altitude porter. And of course, without them, we won't go that far. That is for sure. And they are amazingly strong physically, and they need the acclimatization process like us, like every human. You know, they cannot start from base camp and climb to the top without acclimatization. But when they are acclimatized, I mean, they are so fast and so strong. So, like, just to give you an idea, when I carry like 10, 12 kg, Sange is carrying 25.
Wow.
And he is faster.
Yeah.
And here in the Alps, we learn to walk, very regularly and
With your
very
breathing.
slowly and things, and do zigzag and things. The Sherpa, they go super fast, tuk, 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 and they stop and they recover.
It's like interval training.
And then tuk, tuk, exactly. So you arrive slowly behind, and I say, oh, I can reach him, and when you think you can catch him, tuk, 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 you never catch a Sherpa, never. And and this is also the specificity of Himalayan climb. You climb at the pair, and then always a climber and a Sherpa.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of here, you have a guide, and people are roped together, and this is different. So during this whole big journey, I work only with 3 Sherpa, and this is, I think, super important to know each other very well.
Mm-hmm.
So you know the limit of the person, and when something happens, and it can be the high altitude sickness, and if you know well the person, you can see if something is getting wrong, and you. That's why, I mean, being on this big mountain solo, it's you increase the dangers so much.
Yeah. And so just on that, if you think about your own experience, important mentors that you've had along the way, and also now you're coaching a few Sherpas yourself. I understand you're helping them in their mountain guide journey.
Of course, I have a few mentors, especially women, and just to mention one, I like to talk about Nives Meroy.
Mm-hmm.
She's Italian, and she completed the whole 14 without supplementary oxygen, and it's a huge and great journey because it's a love story. She did that with her husband, and on Kanchenjunga, again this third mountain, her husband was get sick, and they couldn't summit, and there was really definitely something wrong. And when they came back to Italy, it happened that he was affected by a cancer, and she was supposed to be the first woman to complete the 14. And at that time, instead of going ahead alone and get the record, she decided to stay close to her husband, and it took him 4 years to recover. And at the end of these 4 years, they went back again together on the mountain, and they complete. So I found this story super nice and super beautiful.
That's
and
amazing.
In the meantime, to complete, this is at Edurne Passaban and Gerlinde Kalterbrunner. So she was the third one.
Amazing. Let's talk a little bit about the future and other projects you've been involved in, this glacier biodiversity project and science. Maybe you could say a few words about that.
Yes, I finished this 14 in 2023, and since that, so it's more than 2 years now, and it's very clear in my mind that I don't want to go to 8,000 anymore, because I lose too many friends, and it's interesting to understand that when you are in the project, you put that behind the dead zone and the huge danger and thing, because you want to go ahead. And then when it's finished, then you see, you do a step back and you say, then it's done. But it's also clear that I still want to continue climbing, and I had the opportunity to be invited last year in Nice at the UNOC, is the UN Ocean Conference. You will tell me ocean with glacier, but there is a connection, and the connection is the cryosphere. The cryosphere is all the frozen surface on Earth, which is the South and the North Pole, and all the glacier, and the iceberg, and all this. And I've been invited there at the cryosphere pavilion as a witness to tell what I see on this big glacier and the glacier melting, because I spent so long years in this glacier. I did a small calculation. I slept more than 3 years in a tent above 5,000. So that gives you a little bit an idea. But I spent a lot of time, and I saw, of course, all this glacier melting. And since my first expedition, I always had a side project, supporting an NGO, supporting, the work of the Sherpa for the safety, the avalanche trainings and things. And naturally, being involved in this big conference, we arrived at the conclusion that glacier has to be more protected, and we need to talk about them. And so we went into this project. The project is called Baseline, and is to collect ice samples on high altitude. I'm not becoming a glaciologist, but I keep my hat of a climber, and to collect samples on high altitude.
You're a scientific porter.
Yeah, let's say that. Yeah, Sange can contribute also to carrying, because each sample that we collect of ice is a 3 kg ice.
Wow.
So with all the logistic, when we came back, for instance, from Annapurna 4, we collect at 7,500 meters some samples, and it's an added weight to bring down.
Yeah, amazing.
But it's the idea is to discover the biodiversity on the glacier, because it's amazing life in glacier, and to discover the eDNA, so the environmental DNA, and to make the first baseline of the Peru one. The samples, they have been analyzed already, and they discover 1,400 species inside.
Wow.
So that gives you an idea of the life that is in those glaciers. And we work on this project with the EPFL. We are also here in this amazing place. And the big project at the end is to create with the scientists and the glaciologists of the Alpol, based in Sion in Switzerland, to create a biobank. So this baseline is also a way to highlight the huge work that they are doing since many years, and to give also the opportunity to talk a little bit more about this biodiversity and the awareness of the glacier, the melting.
Incredible. Yeah. We'll put all of this in the show notes, so everyone has access to the links. And with that, I guess just 2 last questions for you, Sophie. So as you think about, you started mountaineering actually at quite a late age. What do you, in your mind, philosophically, what do you think as you think about aging and healthy aging and aging well? How do you think about that for yourself?
Of course, the more you are getting older and older, and the more you start thinking about that. And this is super interesting. I mean, I don't care of living old, but I think, and it's of course the main topic of longevity is to live healthy, and as best as possible.
Mhm.
So with my brother, we accompanied my mother for 7 years of Alzheimer disease, which has been really, really tough. And yeah, anything that can help or support your body and make you going to the old age as healthy as possible.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel a little concerned and interesting.
Yeah.
So yeah, I start to pick some few things every day, and I want to enjoy and continue climbing as much as I can, as long as I'm healthy.
Yeah.
And this is life. I mean,
Well,
enjoying as much as we can.
Well, thank you for also carrying timeline. We have pictures of Sophie in some very high base camps with timeline. So thank you for carrying timeline and the extra weight up all these mountains. And but thank you for the time and also for the support that you've given timeline over the years.
Thanks to you, Federico.
Yeah.
And I will bring few for the climbing community there, and I'm sure it will be helpful for everybody.
Well, thank you also everyone that joined. Thank you for your time. If you have any questions for Sophie, feel free to put them into the comments here on YouTube, and we'll make sure we get back to you. And if you enjoyed this, also let us know in the comments so that we can maybe bring Sophie back for a follow-up session.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, and namaste, as we say.